Greetings, Joy Souls. Welcome to the Live Joy Lifestyle Podcast. I am amsa-t.neter, your host, and it is my mission to share joy from my heart to yours whenever and wherever you are. I want to talk about how we move through life. This topic has been coming up in almost every conversation that I have had in the past couple of days, so I felt like it was a sign. So much so that I have like 7 metaphors for it. I won't make you listen to them all, I promise. Just my favorite 3. Okay, 2. We'll do 2. So this idea of moving backwards on your journey, that you are right back where you started from or got knocked down a couple of pegs, generally has a negative connotation. It can feel like failure, time wasted, or you have that, I should have known feeling. Well, that's true if it's what you decide to believe. Or you can do that thing that we talked about in the breath episode where you intentionally choose a different experience. That could look like zooming out and choosing a new angle to view the situation from. You find a new perspective. When it was me feeling like I had gone backwards on my path, I decided to look at it like this. The path that I was on was either a dead end or it proved not to serve my highest good if I continued forward. However, it did have some good at some point. It's just that that's over now. And whether I know which direction I'm supposed to go in next or not, how am I supposed to get there if this path has no forks in the road that I can see? But it has one back there where I came from. So what I can do is turn around and go back so that I can then take a different path forward. So taking this other path forward is definitely forward, right? It's forward moving. But the only reason I made it there is because I did go backwards first, which means backward is forward, or at least it can be. And this is just to remind myself, these steps backwards are a part of my journey forwards. And I do believe that every step matters. All of the steps forward, all of the steps back, and all of the steps that lead away again. If you get nothing else out of this road traveled, you get information. You get to gather knowledge and insight and gain that wisdom. All of the lessons, you get to take them with you. And if you find that there is a struggle of resistance that you meet while you are in this moving backward phase, then there's a lesson in that too. So let's go ahead and take a look at the moving backwards and if there is a struggle there for you. It just means that you have an opportunity to dial into why you don't want to go backwards. So it could be the most simple, my first thing to think about would be the outcome. You may be thinking, this is not what it was supposed to look like. This is not how it's supposed to happen. And so you are attached to a specific outcome and it's really hard to let that go. So it feels very frustrating and it feels negative for you to turn around instead of pushing forward with what you really thought was going to happen. Maybe it's someone or something that you don't want to leave behind. Someone who is staying on this path and you will literally have to walk away and leave that someone or something. And it's understandable if you just don't want to do that. But as sucky as that is, sometimes we need to let go. So this can be a moment for you to really assess if letting go of these specific attachments will allow you to walk back and keep it moving, if it's in your best interests or not. Imagine that you're wearing an old sweater and it has holes all over it. So you're walking forward and you get jerked to a stop because one of the holes got caught in the door handle of the door that you were walking by. So you have a couple of choices here. You can walk it back, unhook yourself, and then keep going wearing the same old sweater. And then you're most likely going to keep running into this issue of being stopped in your forward motion because you keep getting caught on things with all these holes, right? Or you can walk it back, unhook the sweater, and take it off so that you can go forward and keep it moving and have nothing to hold you back. So when you get, quote unquote, back to that space and you've learned all this stuff and you got all these experiences, you may be back in the same place, but you're not there in the same way that you were before. Now that right there was enough for me to say, I'm not starting again. I'm not in the same place. But if that's not working for you and you're not there yet, hold on, because I have more. So say you go back to the path you just came from. Like you went down it, you reversed, you're back to this place, and then you go, no, I'm going to do that one again. That sounds like backwards and backwards and backwards. But really, it's not, because if you've already gone on this path forward and backwards, then you're going to do it way better than you did the first time, right? Because now you have all that wisdom and insights and these lessons learned that you can do or use on your way forward while you navigate the path again. So hopefully, if that's the way that you're going, you get to use everything to elevate and level up as you do it the next time. Kind of like when we're playing video games, right? You go through it and then you learn that, there's always going to be some obstacle that jumps out from the right side at this time. So you learn to maneuver around it. And then maybe there's something that you need in this place, right? This place that you go back to. Maybe something you need to keep moving forward with from now on. Maybe it's a lesson that hasn't been fully learned. Or maybe it's just a safe place for you to rest and celebrate the work that you've already done. And then you can get back out there and keep taking that next path forward. And maybe there's even somebody there who's going to be inspired by your journey because you came back and now they get to see it. So there could be so much more purpose to you being where you are, even if you don't really realize it until you've come and gone. I want to tell you my backward is forward story. And it was still when I lived in California. I lived in a house near a mountain and some orange groves. And I really loved that spot. I could see the stars, but we were really feeling like we wanted to move into the jungle near the beach. So that was going to be our step forward. But the process, right? We had to go through the whole process of selling our house, moving out, and all of that jazz. So we put the house on the market and we decided to do just a few open houses over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we're just going to collect all of the offers and take the best one or keep going, right? Just see what happens. So we got an offer over asking in that first weekend and we just went for it. And we didn't even have a house that we were sure about in Hawaii yet. So right away, of course, we go ahead and I flew out and I decided to look for that house. But we were in escrow less than a week after getting that offer. So we had to move out in 30 days. When we finally did find our house, we still didn't close on our house here for 3 months. So we were in limbo from having to move out of our home and then before we were even able to move to Hawaii. But by then it's January and my kids are still in school. I did not want to move them out of school in the middle of the school year. So we decided to stay. And where did we go? We go to my parents' house. So we stayed with my parents for that first 3 months and then all the way to June. So you know what? Scratch that. Add another month, because my dogs, I brought 2 dogs over here and their tests were delayed. So we didn't leave until the end of July. 10 whole months. I spent 10 months living with my parents. That is like the most common backstep of them all. Going back to live with your parents. And I had my whole family with me. So during this backstep, I did get to have a little bit of a breather, though. I have nieces and nephews, and so my kids always had somebody to play with, and they were always overeating, so my family was doing dinner. I'm vegan. Nobody else is vegan. So usually I end up making vegan dinner and another dinner, but I didn't have to do that. I only had to take care of me because they were being fed. So that was a really nice and nurturing thing that I got out of taking this back step. And there's also the thing about the mortgage. By January, we closed, so we're going to have to start paying the mortgage. And if we had to still pay for our other house and our mortgage, that would be so stressful. So we did get this form of rest, a big burden lifted. And beyond those physical things, there's even a huge breakthrough that I didn't even realize I needed. As though, I felt really crazy living with my parents again, in my 30s with my family. And that's totally fine. Like I said, I did it. And I'm not judging me or anybody else who does that. This is what we're talking about right now, right? It's a back step, but a step forward. It was a step towards me moving to Hawaii. But I learned that I had a nice big block in my throat chakra. And I don't feel that would have been lifted if I didn't live with my parents again. It needed to be challenged. It needed to be pushed. And I'm so grateful that it was, because I was able to work through that and open my throat up so that I could be free. And I came here way more free than I would have been had I not taken that back step, which was clearly a nice step forward. So we give thanks to all of the setbacks and the lessons that come with them. Taking steps back is a part of the journey forward. And, I love dance, so I want to give you a quote. I found my rhythm when I realized that even the steps backward were part of the dance. Melody Godfred. And with that, I wish you many blessings as you perform the dance of life. Let's connect or stay connected. My socials are at @MyLiveJoyLife. And if you really want to chat, break down your steps backward, activate the joy within, book a free session using the link in the notes. I look forward to sharing inJOY with you. And until then, let your breath fuel you, let your heart move you, and let your intuition guide you. Peace, love, and live joy.